All right, Joe Burrow is on the love list. Why?
Well, he'll play in trash bags for one. Also, just like we talked about this at the top of the show when we were talking about Tua Tagovailoa and everything like that, right? Miami now is going to be traveling on a short week. Their defense was on the field for 90 plays.
It's a lot of plays.
In week 2.
Yeah.
On the field for 90 plays, and now they've got to travel on a short week to Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow, by the way, for all the struggles that he's had, he's still averaging over 41 pass attempts per game. He's still throwing a lot, got off the schneid last week fantasy-wise, and so this is a good matchup with the Dolphins defense that has allowed the second most passing yards through 3 weeks. They're tied for the 4th most deep completions allowed. Xavier Howard is a really good corner, but takes some chances. And, we saw Rashad Bateman, beat him bad earlier this season, and so Joe Burrow comes in at QB7 for me this week. He makes the love list here, as you see on your screen, in terms of yards allowed. Yes, they only give up 213 passing yards to the Patriots, but that's the Patriots. 318 in the air to Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, and then 400 to Josh Allen and the Bills in week number 3. 5 touchdowns allowed passing-wise over the last 2 weeks for the Miami Dolphins.
I like that. And the whole thing about the Dolphins is they blitz. They're a blitzing defense. Joe Burrow was the best quarterback in the NFL against the blitz last season. I like that matchup on the short week. All right. Bit more confused by this one. Russell Wilson. I know you're a big Broncos fan now.
Let's ride.
Yeah, let's ride.
Let's ride. My buckle's coming any day now. Let's ride.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson, he doesn't run. He hasn't been good so far. He's only got one wide receiver.
But he
Why do you
doesn't
like him?
spoil movies.
We don't know
he
that,
is
but
also
true.
a very nice guy. No, everyone loves
nice
Russell
guy.
Wilson.
Yeah,
everyone,
he's a nice guy.
everyone loves Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Not everyone loves Jay Croucher, and
It's true.
I can
He would have a better
I can
approval
say
rating.
that with a definitive statement.
That's fair.
I'm in on Russell Wilson this week, and I get it, right? I mean, he has been bad. There's no question about it. Fantasy-wise, certainly, he's been brutal. He is QB 23 on the season, averaging 12.6 fantasy points per game. But I think the Raiders first off, I think the Raiders will be able to move the ball against Denver, so I think this is a game that should do well. It's an over-under, 45.5, I believe, was the last line I saw on that. Raiders have allowed 260 passing yards every game so far this season, and that includes games against Ryan Tannehill. Right? They are what helps a struggling quarterback. They've given up over 8 yards per pass attempt in 2 of the 3 games they've played so far this year. 6th highest completion rate, 2 quarterbacks through 3 weeks. You can throw, and you can throw deep on the Las Vegas Raiders. They're actually dead last in sack rate. So Wilson should have a clean pocket here. And I think that you give him enough time. Hopefully Jerry Jeudy is back fully healthy in this one. Give him enough time, he's going to pick apart the Raiders. I have him as a top 12 play this week.
Yep. Raiders, inexplicably, a 2.5-point favorite over the Denver Broncos. I don't understand that.
I did this as a parlay. I'm just going to tell you, right? Yeah. Again, losing teams with winning records, getting points against teams with losing records. I like the Broncos plus 2.5, the Rams plus 2.5, and I was able to get the bet in with the Dolphins getting 3.5.
Yep.
So before
I like
line
that.
started moving.
I think your boy Joe Burrow might be the guy who disrupts that, though. Okay, Jared Goff on the love list as the quarterback of the sneakily elite offense in Detroit.
Yeah. By the way, Jared Goff is the 11th best quarterback in fantasy so far this year. Very, very viable. 7 touchdown passes through 3 games. He's averaging over 37 pass attempts per game. It is suddenly partially because of the defense and partially because Jared Goff's had a clean pocket and has been fine. But this is a guy that has been a viable fantasy quarterback through 3 weeks. They're actually, as an offense, the Lions are 3rd in yards per game. And it's a good matchup at home against the Seahawks, right? Seattle's allowing the most yards per pass attempt and the 4th most yards per play. So again, this game is in Detroit, and the Seahawks are basically almost barely a top 20 pass defense. So give me Jared Goff as a streamer this week. He makes the love list. I'm as a top 12 play in week number 4. Quickly want to run through a couple of guys on the others receiving votes, and that includes the guy that Jared Goff is facing, Marcus Mariota. I'm sorry. He's facing Geno Smith. He faced, or he will face Mariota in the future, I think. Anyway, Geno Smith. He's had 17 or more fantasy points and multiple touchdowns in 2-3 games so far this year. Lions have allowed the 8th most passing yards, so I do think Geno Smith is a viable streamer this week. I mentioned Marcus Mariota. He's also a streamer for me as well. Remember, 25 rushing attempts and 2 rushing touchdowns through 3 weeks. The rushing keeps Mariota's floor high, Falcons, for as much as we want to bag on the Falcons, I mean, I know you love your Falcons,
I love my
right?
Falcons.
As much as we
Sweet,
want to,
dirty birds.
Sweet dirty birds. Like, your Falcons have scored at least 23 points every game this year. I mean, in terms of just as an NFL, like they're putting points on the board, and so, you know, against Cleveland, it's not a great matchup, but they might be without Myles Garrett in this one.
It's not a terrible matchup. Cleveland's defense hasn't been great. They should be better, but we haven't seen it.
They've been middle of the pack here. So Mariota, and then Zach Wilson.
No.
Right? Quarterback for me, for you, for your mother's fantasy team.
Waiting for it.
Like the kind of quarterback that you can introduce to your mom's fantasy team. Zach Wilson is the fact of the matter is, again, we have yet to. Here's a question for you, Mr. You blow every, you have no spoiler. Okay, let me just say, all right. So you're in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You're in the kitchen with your boy, a buddy, just like a friend.
Yeah.
And then Zach Wilson comes down for coffee.
Yeah.
And he gives you a wink.
Yeah.
He gives you a wink, a knowing wink, right? And then he leaves. Are you then turning to your buddy? Because you love spoiling stuff for people. Are you turning to your buddy and says, Zach Wilson and your mom?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are.
Absolutely.
You're not keeping that to yourself.
No, minus 20,000, yes. Absolutely destroying my buddy's day. Now, you're destroying Trevor Lawrence's day.
All right.
By putting him on
we're
the
in on
hate
Zach
list.
Wilson, by the way. I just, real quickly, because they're going to want to cut this for social, and they're not going to want a bunch of mom jokes. So I'll just say that the Jets, of all teams, the New York Jets, lead the NFL in pass attempts so far. And since the T.J. Watt injury, Pittsburgh is tied for 24th in terms of quarterback pressures. They've really struggled to get to the quarterback. So Wilson should have a clean pocket in a good matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep. Okay, let's quickly. The two guys on your hate list from the quarterback perspective, Trevor Lawrence and Carson Wentz.
Trevor Lawrence, he's going against Philadelphia. It's all matchup based. I'm a believer in Trevor Lawrence long term, both this season and long term. He's going to be a viable fantasy quarterback. But the Eagles are top 5 in the NFL in yards per pass attempt, completion rate, passer rating against, yards per play. You see it there on your screen if you're watching on Peacock. They're second in sacks. They're third in QB pressures. This is just too good of a defense. I have Trevor Lawrence outside my top 15 for the week. And then you mentioned Carson Wentz of my beloved Washington Commanders. It's also a matchup thing. Again, there will be weeks this year where Carson Wentz is very viable for fantasy. It is going to be a pass-heavy offense. He's got nice weapons around him. But he took 9 sacks last week. He was pressured 23 times against Philadelphia in week number 2. Cowboys lead the NFL in sacks. They're second in quarterback pressures. Through 3 weeks, Dallas allowing under 14 fantasy points a game to opposing quarterbacks, and that includes games against Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. They're allowing touchdown passes at second lowest rate in the NFL. Carson Wentz on the hate list this week. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.